Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Sitt, and this is Asian Viewpoints. Our guest today is Gordon Quan. He was born in Guangzhou, China, is now the managing partner of the premier immigration firm Quan Law Group in Houston. He was selected to super lawyer from 2003 to 2022 as a top-rated attorney, and he's the first Asian American ever to be elected to an at-large position on the Houston City Council. Gordon, thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure, Mary. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you. So, Gordon, when we think about immigration issues, we think of the dramatic headlines of DeSantis flying, Venezuelan immigrants to Martha's Vineyard and just plopping them down there. We think of Governor Abbott from Texas busing migrants up to New York and Washington, D.C. Is our immigration system broken? Some people would argue that it's not broken. We're just not enforcing our current rules.
Well, I think the system is broken. I think the world has changed a lot since our last major overhaul, which was in 1990, actually. So it's been about 33 years since we've seen any real major changes in our immigration system. During that time, the world has changed. And as you see, we have this imbalance right now. We have 10 million job openings in the United States. We have people on our border trying to come in, and there's no connect between the needs of our country and the desires of people who want to come to our country. We need to facilitate a system that brings these together and benefits the United States and provides an opportunity for people seeking to add to the American system.
Okay, so the Biden administration has pledged to open up more legal pathways to people seeking to come to the United States, and they are considering a rule now that would actually allow temporary, I believe, farm workers and agricultural workers to obtain a green card. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, there's a great agricultural bill that is being floated out there, and it seems like it's international interest. As you may know, farmers average right now 59 years of age, and it's an aging population. 75% of farm workers are actually undocumented. And so we need a workforce that we can count on. And it's a job that a lot of Americans just don't want to do. It's tedious work. And so there should be a system, and it's been proposed a system that would allow farm workers to come, and after a certain period of time, working in the fields, working in verified farm jobs, they could then qualify for permanent residence. It's personally, I think, in our national interest. I mean, who doesn't want to eat every day?
Well, critics would say that it incentivizes employers to hire cheap labor to the detriment of American workers. Is that a valid criticism?
Well, with a system in place, there would be wage rate control to make sure that these individuals are not being abused or victimized. And as far as displacing U.S. workers, again, U.S. workers are welcome to go into farming. But as you see by the demographics in Texas, the rural areas are losing population. More and more people are moving to the cities. And so I don't see a change in that trend in the foreseeable future.
Okay. Gordon, how can we make our borders secure?
There's 2 or 3 things I think can be done. One, actually, Senator Cornyn of Texas and Senator Sinema of Arizona have proposed setting up these kind of super centers where on the border, there'll be judges, trial attorneys representing individuals, where more immediate decisions can be made on whether these individuals qualify for asylum or not. And they can be sent back if they don't, but at least get an adjudication of their case in a reasonable time period, so that if they do meet the standards, they can be released to go on for further hearings later on. And, to address it head on as opposed to delay justice is I think, a travesty. Secondly, again, I think that we need to look at overall conditions. There's a proposal to set up a safety zone in Guatemala that people who are waiting for hearings can at least be in a safe area and not being victimized by cartels or traffickers in the interim. Third, I think we need to look at what our needs are as a country. whether it be farmers or whether it be restaurant workers or other things, looking at how we can do either temporary or permanent visas on a long-term basis to meet our needs. The United Nations has said that advanced countries like the United States should do more training programs or temporary programs,
Mhm.
provide skills, and then these people can go back to their home country and help develop their own country. We're not doing this. Canada's doing this. Other countries have done a better job than we have, but the United States needs to look at how do we do this efficiently.
So Gordon, when I listen to your answers, all these solutions sound like really doable. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. Why aren't we doing this as a nation? Why are we so paralyzed, with this immigration issue? It's like we kick the football down the road for the next administration every 4 years. You know what I mean?
I agree, Mary. To me, these seem to be sensible solutions as well. But I think it's become so political. It seems to be a game of win or lose. If we let the Democrats do this, then the Republicans lose. If the Republicans do this, then the Democrats lose. I think that there should be a middle ground where we get both safety as well as compassion within our immigration laws. And, President George W. Bush had proposed a law back in his administration. The Senate voted 68% of the 100 senators for that law, but the Republicans blocked the bill from ever coming up in Congress, so that the House never had a chance to vote because they knew they'd pass it, and the president said he'd sign it. So it's very frustrating working in this field because you had to get both houses to agree and then the president to sign. One of the first things that President Biden said when he first came to office, he outlined a 10-point plan of how he would want to reform immigration, and virtually nothing has gotten done at this point.
Wow. So Forbes reported that in 2022, 70% of Americans support immigration, but when you divide it into a political lens and look through it, Democrats are unanimous, where only 46% of Republicans favor that. What's the likelihood of our nation fixing our immigration system?
Strangely enough, I think, is that when we talk about reform in 1990, George H.W. Bush was president. When we look at the amnesty program of 86, it was Ronald Reagan who was president. Both are Republicans. And it seems that if we can get the Republicans on board for reform, the Democrats are essentially go with it.
Okay.
At 46%, we're only like 4% short of majority.
So you live in hope, right, Gordon? As an immigration lawyer, you live in hope.
I live in hope that we can overcome that. I know that the House is very evenly divided, as you know. There's only about 5 votes difference. And as you may also know, we have congressmen from Texas, both Republicans and Democrats, who are seeking reform of the immigration laws at this time. Because just as Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema held sway because of the closeness in the Senate, Republicans now have some members who can hold sway because it's such a tight majority in the House. So you're right. I'm a hopeful person. Because I see so many people who want to contribute, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
They're good people, and this is the lifeblood of our country, in my opinion. And I have to hope that Congress comes to some conclusions that it's worthwhile for our country to be more generous.
Thank you so much for being with us. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button below and be sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting a new video every Thursday. I'm Mary Sitt. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again in the next video.